everybody to another edition of Wrestling Therapy. The chair has been filled. I am Masuji, and I am here to talk some SummerSlam predictions with a guest. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Jeff the Hungry Man Harrison, a longtime wrestling fan since I was probably 11 years old. And it's great to be here to talk some wrestling and stuff. So I'm really excited to be here. Thanks for having
Oh,
me.
no problem. So tell us a little bit about yourself. You was telling me some things that you did with WWE earlier. Want to care to talk about that?
Well, like in the early 90s, I would say like around 95, maybe mid 90s, I was working with a bunch of different independent wrestling organizations in the Northeast of Connecticut. CCW, WXW out of Pennsylvania, Afa and Sika's promotion out there. So I used to travel there and I would lay down the commentary of all the matches in the studio, kind of similar to what Vince McMahon did in the early days when he would go to the studio and they'd film, you know, 10 episodes in one day, at an arena. And then he would edit it all and send it to all the local TV stations till it got bigger. So I started doing that, got into the independent scene, writing storylines. I refed, I managed, I was a writer, I was an editor. I did it all. Very similar to how Paul Heyman was in the early days of ECW. And then some of our people have gone up to the WWE. We had champions like Matt Stryker, who ended up in the WWE. We've had other people that were very successful. We had a writer on our team that went to the WWE and became a big part of their writing team and was a big character with the D-Generation X as Big Dick Johnson. So he used to be with us as well and other promotions as well. And then finally, I got an opportunity through him to play a security guard when DX took over Titan Tower in Stamford and broke in and spray painted the side of the building. So that was my 2 minutes of fame, so to speak. But I've done some other small little things where I was a guest manager at a house show for Spike Dudley, which was fun. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Uh, Long time, a lot of work in the independent scene. I was editing up tapes 24/7, sending them out to cable companies all across the Northeast. And then one story is when Vince took over WCW, I was using a WCW song soundtrack for our opener. I figured I wouldn't have a problem with it at all. That's down in Atlanta. They don't know nothing from up here in the Northeast. But when he took it over, somehow somebody from the WWE saw it, and I got a letter saying don't use it no more.
Oh, wow. Cease and desist.
So that's it. Yeah. So that's pretty much my stint with the WWE. I've done some stuff. What we used to do on my public access wrestling show is whenever they were in the area, um, I would go to the arena and interview people outside. And they actually thought I was with the WWE because we had the cameras out there. I had a WWE shirt on. But we used to just interview them and then we put them on our show. And sometimes we incorporated some wrestlers to be there in the parking lots and stuff and shot some footage there of some stuff leading up to some of our own promotions. So it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I just picked up this shirt. I wanted to put a little shout out to the Hulkster. I picked this up just a couple days ago, or a couple days before the word got out that he was really, really sick and then passed. I picked it up at Bucky's up in down in Florida. There, I'm originally from Connecticut. Uh, I consider it my hometown. I'm actually on vacation up here again, but I'm down in Florida, so I got to see the Hulkster probably 3 or 4 times since I've been down in Florida in the last 2 years. At Hogan's Hangout, where they had the karaoke, and then he was promoting his beer. So very sad. My prayers go out to all the fans and friends and relatives of the Hulkster. Hulkamania runs forever, brother. So very sad news in the wrestling world.
Life is not promised, neither is tomorrow.
No, sir, not at all.
We also have our first ever 2-night SummerSlam event coming up this weekend already.
Yeah, excited about that. It's going to be up here, and that's this upcoming weekend. And unfortunately, I leave to go back to Florida on Friday, and they're so close right here. I mean, I wanted to go, but I just couldn't go with it being in New York there. Yeah, so I'm excited. First 2 night, I think that's going to start being their new trend. You know, there was always just the WrestleMania, and I think that started when COVID hit, and then now I think all these pay-per-views are going to end up being 2 night shows.
Yeah, I could see the big four: SummerSlam, Rumble, Survivor Series.
Survivors,
I could see that being 2 nights. If it was gonna make more money, why not?
absolutely.
This is a fairly stacked card, depending on your consideration of stats. One of the matches we have Jade Cargill, the Queen of the Ring, as she goes against Tiffany Stratton. Now, some would say that the build to this match has been very boring. What
Yeah,
are your predictions, and what do you think of this build?
well, I think they could have done a better job building it. Um, I think part of the if it's not built properly, um, that could be all around Cargill winning, in my opinion. So if Cargill's gonna go over in the match, that could be part of the reason why there wasn't a big build. If Stratton's going over, then I think they would have built it bigger. So I think I have to go with Cargill in the match, even though I would like to see Stratton go. I think they're gonna go with Cargill.
Okay, that's a different take on it. I like that. All right. Another match we have is CM Punk, who won a gauntlet match to the right to face the Ring General Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship match. Your predictions and your thoughts on this build?
That's a tough one for me. I love Gunther. I love the character. I think he's good in a title position. I think that they haven't really built CM Punk since his coming back. They just prolonged it too much with the Seth Rollins and then the injury and this back and forth with Paul Heyman and stuff. I think it just got too much around it. You know what I'm saying? Um, I think they. I think Gunther's going to go over again, and there's going to be some interference. That's going to build. They're building something up for CM Punk. I'm not saying it's going to be another Cena rematch. Um, I I would even go as far as saying that there could be a little bit of a heel turn on Punk.
So,
Possibly something with Paul Heyman. Like this was the master plan all along to get Punk to where he needed to be, and that's why they did something with Rollins. But with Rollins getting the injury, they could make a whole turn thing with Heyman saying, "Listen, I picked the wrong guy. He was supposed to be the guy, but he gets injured." And I think Braun Breaker is going to be that one. But I think I read somewhere that there might be something with Braun Breaker recently with an injury. I'm not sure, but I'm going to go with Gunther. But I think they got bigger plans for CM Punk,
okay.
or 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 CM definitely, um, not definitely, but like will win the match, but then it'll be a quick turnaround, like maybe on Monday. Like in other words, CM Punk may win, and then on Monday there's a rematch or something, and then it's gone.
Do you think Seth Rollins catches it? Because that's the other thing
Um,
that's been kind of floating out there.
um, I think it's too soon. I think it's too soon.
Okay.
Um, I think they might try to um try to pull that, but it's going to get the crowd all excited, but then he's not. You know,
Okay.
I think they're going to play. I think they're going to play this in if this injury isn't legit. I I think they're going to play that out a little longer.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay. Another match we have is Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch defending her Women's Intercontinental Championship against Lyra Valkyria in a no disqualification match. If Lyra cannot defeat Becky, it's basically the same rules. Lyra cannot challenge Becky for the IC title as long as she has it. Your thoughts and predictions?
I think Becky Lynch is going to go over. I don't think that they would bring her back the way she did. I know that there was this whole thing that, they brought her back in and then Bayley had to take a second seat in regards to her return on what they had plans for Bayley. I think she's going to go over, but I think it's going to be, like a mosh, or it might be a run in or whatever. Tight, something, holding the rope, something. She's gonna. Then I think if they're gonna build her, now's the time to get it. Now to get her over.
So, do you see Bayley getting involved in this match?
Yeah, I think so. Somehow down the line. I don't know how they're gonna book it, but definitely it's gonna lead up to that. Whether she wins and then Bayley comes out and challenges her, or it's a clean win. Uh, it could be. We could see somebody from NXT come in.
Any predictions?
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, it's somebody that could help Becky from NXT. So whoever in the female roster there is getting their push to come into one of the two shows, that would be a perfect way to bring her in.
Okay, I like
Whoever
that.
that.
That's kind of outside the box. I like that. Okay. A match that was recently added, we have Karrion Kross versus Sami Zayn. As of now, this match has no stipulation, but this is being recorded before Raw, so that that could change. Um, your thoughts on this match?
I think they're underutilizing Sami Zayn. I don't know who's writing his stuff, but he's like, yeah, it's just going on too long. With another, it's just going on forever. Oh, I don't win a match. No, you got to do better. This carrying crosses in there, and he's, if they're doing anything, they got to put Sammy over. You can't build everything that's been going on and then Sammy loses. It just doesn't make any sense. So I think Sammy will go over, but they need to figure out where's this leading to. What's it all about? Is he gonna go? I think what they're trying to do is, now that Roman Reigns is back, you might see him come back into that temporary bloodline again. So Roman Reigns in and say, "Hey, I'm back. I need you," and they might build back up on that story.
Okay.
I just can't see what other direction they're going to push Sami Zayn. What can they do with him?
I mean, the only thing that I could even really think of is, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe the Royal Rumble next year is in Saudi Arabia. I could see Sammy winning the Royal Rumble there. I mean, he doesn't lose in Saudi really, if at all. So I could
Right.
see him winning the
Well,
Rumble.
that would make sense for the simple reason of that's why they got to start pushing him now. It seems like everybody, not everybody, but like he's the way the storyline is written is like he's trying to understand his confidence that he can't get through it. He don't, I don't know what to do. La la la. That's not the Sami Zayn that I always envisioned, especially a year ago when he was doing everything he was doing. So it was almost like a quick turnaround what they wanted to do with his character, especially when his wife was there, at ringside, and there was all this, that it's gone on too long. Even back then, it was like, I don't know if I could do it. I got my wife here. I'm fighting in front of her, that whole thing. So I think I think they're going to start giving him a big push. Um, I like to see him against Braun Breaker. I think that would be a really good match.
I mean, I've seen Sammy and Braun wrestle each other enough.
Yeah,
Like it was
but I mean,
fine. I mean, it was good matches.
yeah,
I don't need to see it again. At least not right now.
yeah,
Not right
right. I just think that's I think that if Braun Breaker gets the IC back or something, I think they're gonna use that. I think they're just gonna, because of their history. I think that's where it's gonna go. So I think if he does win the Royal Rumble, I don't think he's going for the championship. I think he's gonna want to get that IC back.
I doubt that because Sammy's whole thing now, he wants to be a world champion. He,
Right.
he wants to be a world champion, and
Well, do you see him being a good champion for the brand?
yeah, yeah.
I think back in the maybe under this company, certainly back when Vince was around, that would never happen.
I think also too, and I've seen a lot of people complain about this. There's long-term booking and there's really, really, really long-term booking. And I think
Right.
part of the problem people have is, like you mentioned earlier, things are taking too long. Example, you have the Austin Theory thing. It's like, oh, now they split now after what, a year and a half of building it up. We get nothing.
Right.
I don't hate Sammy, but I feel like I need a break from Sammy at times.
Mm-hmm.
He could be a bit much with his character for me. That's just for me.
Right. I would like, if they, with his character and what they were trying to do, would have been cool if he was like, I needed a break. Like, oh, he's got everybody saying stuff, so I needed a break. And then one day he just shows up at NXT and he runs through two or three of their top guys there, and then comes back. I've been down at NXT rebuilding myself, and now look at me. You know?
Yeah, that's something a little different. I mean, he just has
Yep.
NXT history, so
Yeah.
that'll be interesting. Okay. Next we have the women's tag titles. We have Raquel and Roxanne, the champions, defending against the Queen, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss for the women's tag team champions.
Yeah, I think you're going to see Charlotte and Alexa Bliss grab those titles. And the writing's already on the wall. Charlotte is who she is. There's going to be dissension. They'll end up losing the titles and they'll blame each other, and then they'll have their run somewhere along the line.
I kind of almost feel like it's going to be the other way around.
Oh, they won't win the championship and then they'll blame each
No,
other?
I think they'll win the championship, but I think the dissension is going to come from Alexa, not Charlotte. Right now,
Either way, yeah, I agree. It could be either way.
right now,
Because Charlotte's the more cocky one, like where I'm the Flair, I'm this, you know. I built you up. I was a champion. You weren't, that type of thing.
normally I would agree, but it feels like they're building Charlotte up to be a big babyface. And if you watch Evolution, she got a really big pop at Evolution. And
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte now, she doesn't seem like she's the Ice Queen. If you
Right.
looked at Charlotte how she was booked before, she's the queen. She don't give a fuck about nobody else. It's
Right.
she needs to be a champion. And it's like,
Do
okay,
you think she was a better heel or a babyface?
she's better heel, of course. But people overhate Charlotte. People try to act like Charlotte can't wrestle. She's not a good wrestler. They just want to boo her because she wins. That's just how she
Either way,
feels.
whether they win the title or they don't, that would be another opportunity if there um, they could come to the ring, two of them, and challenge them on Raw.
Yeah.
That would be another way to sneak them in.
So you're going with Bliss and Charlotte.
Yeah, to win.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No matter whether they continue to build them. I don't know if they have that chemistry yet. They both be baby faces, and
What do you think of
that's why
What do you think about Roxanne and Raquel's tag team?
I think it's good. I ain't got no issues with it. I think, and I owe this all to Shawn Michaels and NXT. When you look at these females, 90% of them are coming up. I've seen many NXT shows, and the women are outperforming the men 10-1, 10-1, and
Absolutely.
kudos to, kudos to him because they're now headlining the cards. They're
Personally, personally, women should have been made eventing more matches than they are. Like you just said,
oh yeah,
they've had times where it's like, man, this match is better than the main event.
yep, yep. And like I said, I do owe that. I mean, Stephanie McMahon started to put them, from divas to to
Yeah,
wrestlers, but Shawn Michaels done unbelievable work in NXT. I mean, unbelievable.
yeah,
You couldn't pick a better. I mean, God bless Dusty Rhodes, and rest in peace. But he was a big part of that down there. Character development, and he'll never be replaced. He's missed, but Sean's done really good, great stuff down
yeah.
there.
I cannot disagree. Um, Another tag team match we have is a TLC match. We have the Wyatts, who are the current champions, defending against DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, Andrade and Ray Phoenix, and the Street Profits. Who walks away with the titles?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think you're going to be surprised on who they might pick, but you know they had the Wyatt Six. I mean, it was big hype, and it hasn't really gone anywhere. I think they're just trying to hold on to the Wyatt. Everybody's from his loss and his death, and they're just trying to run with that. And I think if they're going to do anything with the Wyatt Six, what they haven't done, it seemed like they started, then it stopped, then it started, then it stopped. Now's the time to do it. So if they win it, then you got to say that they're giving them a really big push, and there's going to be some backstories that are coming behind it. If they lose the titles, I think I think they're going away. I don't think you're going to see them unless they decide to rebuild that story somehow. And like I said, they got NXT to do that. You know, if they're trying to build a story. See, one thing since TKO took over is the roster is overloaded. There are so many superstars and people that they got, and then they put them on a match, and you think they're trying to build some of these newer ones or even people that have been around, and you just got it overloaded. I mean, like Randy Orton, what are we going to do with him? You know, um, the Cena thing is the Cena thing. They went and they did that route. And that's another big story to talk about is, we're getting closer and closer to the end of the year. How's this whole Cena thing going to end up? What is their ultimate plan with him? But I'd have to go with the Wyatt Six only because I think why are they even in the match if they're not going to build it? I would rather see that match without them, to be honest with you.
I mean, they are the champs, so
No, I know, but they put the titles on them for a reason. So I don't think they're going to pull the titles that quick.
I mean,
So they,
yeah. I mean, they do like to hot potato those tag titles on SmackDown,
yeah,
so maybe not now. Maybe down. I don't know who's going to beat them at that point. They beat because they were just going to beat the whole roster at that point.
yeah. Again, I don't know. They're just not my favorite. When it comes to their wrestling ability and how they are in the in ring, it's just to me they're not. You don't even need to put belts on them, as far as I'm concerned. If you're building their story of who they are, they don't. It was like the Undertaker. Undertaker never needed to have a belt. Andre the Giant never needed to be a champion. You know what I'm saying? He was just his being of who he was enough. You know what I'm saying? Undertaker didn't need a belt. This guy had the streak. The dong. You get goosebumps. So on and so forth. I think you're going to see The Rock there, though.
Okay.
I'm going to put that out there.
Jumping ahead.
I think
Jumping the gun a little bit.
I think you may see him, though.
I guess you want to talk about the Cena match then, since we're going to skip over the next match.
Okay.
So,
Cena.
So since you want to talk about Cena Cody, who you think wins the street fight with John Cena defending his WWE Undisputed Championship against Cody Rhodes, King of the Ring?
I don't know who. It could be Randy Orton, who screws over Cody Rhodes again. Maybe Randy Orton sells out to The Rock. I think there's gonna be a sellout, a surprise sellout.
So you think
to screw over Cody Rhodes again?
And you think it's Randy Orton? Interesting.
I'm going with Randy Orton or CM Punk.
So you're picking Cena to retain?
Yes. He ain't losing the title yet. Too soon.
Okay.
I think you're going to see him. I don't know what pay-per-views because they change him up, but it's going to be closer to the end of the year if he's going to drop it. I honestly think he ain't going to drop it. He's going to retire with it like he said he would.
That'll be interesting.
And then they're going to come up with a new title. He's gonna say, "I told you all along. This is what I was gonna do."
I would like.
And then he could still turn face. He could still turn face and say, "I'm still bringing this home with me. This business meant too much to me, and I apologize." And to be honest with you, with the death of Hulk Hogan, that would be the perfect way for him to turn back to face. The guy that made this company or made wrestling, and he's the guy who wanted to destroy it, all of a sudden found the light after his childhood hero went to went this far in his life to create it, and now he's thinking, oh, maybe I did do the wrong thing. They're gonna have The Rock versus Cena. That's gonna be the closing. I don't know how they're gonna book it, but it's gonna end up being Rock versus Cena.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know about Rock wrestling. He doesn't seem too interested in that.
No, but it doesn't even have to be. Remember when they brought Undertaker back with Cena and it was a 5-minute match? That's all they need to do.
Yeah, that's true.
Or it doesn't even have to be a full match. Just the fact that The Rock comes out and Cena gets the advantage. Rock tried to screw over Cena or something, and Cena was able to get one up on him. Whether they bring Undertaker back to help him or however they want to do it, but I think the true way for Cena to go out is to be the champion, to retire as the champ, like he said he would, and let them make a new title and have a run from the Royal Rumble, like the Royal Rumble again. Do something different. Do the top 5 people in the Royal Rumble, or I don't know. There's many ways you can write it, but I think he's gonna end up with the title, and he's gonna retire with the title.
I mean, you could. I mean, if we're going with that narrative, you could have at the Saudi Arabian Royal Rumble be for the new WWE Championship.
True. Yep.
Okay.
I'd rather see a build up of brackets to become a champion, to be honest with you, than like a one night over the top rope crazy thing. I'd rather see some kind of build up to WrestleMania from the Royal Rumble all the way to WrestleMania with brackets. This one, and they have to keep advancing.
A long tournament.
Yeah, that goes over, each pay-per-view they wrestle and they move forward. And in the meantime, you're doing, in between, you're doing matches against other people with built-in storylines. But every pay-per-view till we get to WrestleMania, there'll be a series of 2 brackets and people and I think it's going to be a SmackDown superstar versus a Raw superstar.
That makes sense. Okay. Next on the card, we have Jelly Roll and Randy Orton teaming up against Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre. As of right now, Drew McIntyre is apparently currently stuck in the UK to passport issues. So we'll see about that. But if he does make it, who are you predicting to win this match?
They got to go with Jelly Roll and Randy Orton. Makes no sense to bring Jelly Roll in and for them to lose.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Unless they want to pull a fast one to just to do like fan shock, but I mean, why would you do it? Jelly Roll's been hosting, the TV late night stuff, and he lost all the weight. They're just trying. I mean, it's that entertainment cross that they're doing. I see him. I actually see him getting the win after RKO. So whoever gets RKO'd, he tags in Jelly Roll, and Jelly Roll will do a move and then get the pin.
I can see that.
Or I could also see a double RKO. If they've been working with Jelly Roll to work on the RKO move, I could see a double RKO and a double pin.
I can see that too. That's plausible. Another match we have is.
Wow, this card is overbooked. Holy crap!
2 nights. 2 nights.
I know.
Another night we have it. Another match we have is the Women's World Heavyweight Championship match with Naomi, who cashed in at Evolution, and she'll be defending against those same people, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me. I'd have to go with Naomi going over because they just gave her this big push, and then why would she lose? So it's the constant. When you're getting a push, you got to let it last more than 3 matches or 3 events or whatever. So I have to say, that team would go over.
Yeah, that makes the most sense. It's probably gonna be.
I just don't know. I don't know what direction they're going with Rhea Ripley yet. I think they're building up this whole thing with. Her name escapes me again, but she's in the Judgment Day, the new girl that's
Roxanne.
Roxanne. I think they're going to be pushing a Roxanne Rhea Ripley thing. But I love Rhea Ripley. I think she is the constant. She's the female in that whole female realm to watch, especially after seeing from NXT on how she used to be to who she is. She really built that character and lives that character and knows that character. So she's the one to watch. She's the one leading that female locker room, in my opinion.
Okay. Another match we have is Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker.
You gotta give it up to the OTC. Again, he made the return. You're given the build. It all depends upon where they're going with Paul Heyman and him being betrayed and all that. There's many different roads you could take, no pun intended, dusty roads, in regards to that angle. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many different ways to go. I think you're going to see Jay and Jimmy Uso go back with Roman. And they got to revisit the bloodline with um why am I not
Solo.
thinking of Solo? Yes, so there's going to be a run there. They're going to run that over, and then there might be like a three-way. So it might be Rollins and Breaker with Solo's characters and the Usos. Where you get all three of them in that are around the Paul Heyman thing. I really do think in the end, somewhere, might be WrestleMania next year or the Royal Rumble, that it's going to think that CM Punk and Paul Heyman are reunited. But I think you're going to see CM Punk screw over Heyman. I don't. I don't know where they're going with that. I don't know where they were going. I mean, I know the story that was said, but I mean, but where does it lead to now? Okay, so what? All right, you screwed over CM Punk, blah 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 blah. And everybody blames Heyman. I get it, and then you screwed over, the OTC, and so on and so forth. I just think that story's running out of steam with Paul Heyman. So I think they're just going to either keep Paul Heyman in the and where he is until they figure out this whole uh, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins feud. You know what I'm saying? I like Braun Breaker with Paul Heyman. I like that. It kind of reminds me of the young CM Punk years. But I just don't know where the storyline's going. So I got to go with the OTC. I just think it would kill his return if they lost. Unless, like I said, they're building a storyline and Solo have a match.
I was just about to get to that one. Solo will be defending his United States Championship in a steel cage against Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, that's going to be huge. That's going to be the show stealer. That's going to be the show stealer. I think Jacob Fatu is an unbelievable worker. So very agile for his stature. But I think that might steal the show. That might be the big storyline of the night. As a matter of fact, that's my prediction. My is that the OTC, the Usos, Solo's crew are all going to try to interfere and get into that cage where they all come out and they climb up over the top and are brawling inside. That's what I think is going to happen. In other words, we got a cage to keep everybody out, but they just come out and they climb up to help their teams.
So you're picking?
I'm going to go with Jacob Fatu.
Jacob Fatu. And I believe the last match is AJ Styles against the greatest Intercontinental Champion ever, Dirty Dominic Mysterio, as he defends his Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, I feel bad for AJ Styles because I think he deserves more than what he's getting. Not a fan of the match. I'm really not a fan of Dominic Mysterio. I'm a fan of his character. I'm just not a fan of him having a belt. You know what I'm saying?
No, I can't.
I think
No, I actually do not.
No, I love the guy. I love the character. He is talented in the ring. I just don't like the match. I think there would have been a better story other than AJ Styles. And then they went the whole thing with the doctor's note and this whole setup and stuff. I think Dominic's going to retain. I don't think he's going to lose it. I'm just not a fan of the opponent they have picked, and it has nothing to do with AJ Styles. It's just I think they could have built a better story within the Judgment Day. I would have rather seen him go against Finn.
I think the Liv Morgan injury kind of threw whatever they was long term planning into a kerfuckle, and I think they
Right.
just kind of are pivoting and kind of waiting until Liv comes back to
Right.
do that. But I mean, who knows when she'll be back? But yeah, and I believe that is all the matches.
How many matches is that for 2
It's like
nights?
12.
20?
It's like 12.
12 per night.
So yeah, you got six. You got
Dude,
6 tonight.
oh, 6 a night? That was a total of 12
Mm-hmm.
matches? It seemed longer. More. I don't know. That's just, it's going to be a long 2 nights. Long.
I'd rather it be split up than like how AEW likes to do it, put everything in one night, and you're sitting there watching one pay per view for like 6 hours. I like
Right.
the 2 nights. It kind of gives the matches time to breathe.
Oh yeah, when you have that big of a thing, it's just that it's like a full weekend of wrestling, and then you have it's 4 friggin' days. It's SmackDown. It's overkill. I mean, unless you're a diehard fan, and then people got lives too, so you can't be attached to your television Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's like, oh, yes, at least you had a break on Sunday. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Um, and it was kind of weird too because they have a lot of these other programming that they got on the weekend, like the A&E stuff that they air. So how does that play into ratings? Well, they have a pay-per-view on, and those A&E is showing some of their stuff. Like
I,
the wrestling.
I mean, I think people are just if they're just gonna watch the pay per view over the A&E stuff. I mean,
Oh, I know, but I mean, where does that come into play? Hey, listen, we're here too. We have a program here, and you're putting a program up against your own program.
I mean,
It's
I don't think WWE will care. They're not stealing from. They're just stealing from themselves.
no, I'm talking about A&E.
Well, A&E,
A&E.
WWE,
They may think.
WWE can't program around a 30 minutes or an hour show that not many people are probably going to be sitting and watching over a pay per view, which more people are going to watch that pay per view regardless. Plus,
Right.
if it's a Sunday, I mean, people have other things to do besides wrestling as well.
What's your take on where things have gone since TKO took over? Like, I mean, like especially like the advertising, the 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 over placement of advertising during the matches. You have any thought on
It
that at
doesn't
all?
bother me. It doesn't bother me because it's a business. I mean,
Right.
if you watch sports or like even like UFC, they have advertisements on their trunks, and baseball they got little
Right.
advertisements on their. It doesn't bother me. Does it bother you?
Right. No, it's just different.
Yeah, I mean we're
It's
at
just
different times.
it's just it's different, and I mean, I just think the roster is overloaded. I just think it's hard to keep track of everybody. There's just so many. You had usually 5 of your main characters maybe on each show, and now it seems like you're up to like 11. You got it's like, oh, who's this now? Who's that now? It's like I get why you have them. I you know you'll see a wrestler and then you won't see them for a month and a half, and then all of a sudden they're there. So I get having them. I get building it around, but like I don't know. It's just I just feel like there's too much. I
Oversaturated.
do like I like the fact that the younger newbies, and this is all to Triple H's, a credit, getting the shots. Getting like a Braun Breaker to be up there in the front a lot as a newcomer. That always seemed to take a lot longer under Vince. Like it was like, oh, I don't know.
Very true.
But
Well, that is all we have time for today. Is there anything else that you would like to plug? Any YouTube things or TikToks or whatever you would like to plug now as we wrap up?
Well, one, thank you for having me on. This was fun. I did do a podcast called Appetite for Wrestling, hosted by the Hunger Man. It was a podcast, but I recently moved to Florida from Connecticut, and we were just getting it started. So coming in 2026, that'll be coming back on. And in the Connecticut area, if there's any Connecticut people that view your show, I'd like to say peace to a independent wrestler, the Iceman Jay Picarillo. He passed away about 3 months ago, and he was a big independent wrestling guy in the Bridgeport, Connecticut area. And we are working on a documentary that I'm going to be part of tomorrow. And hopefully, I think it's called Mr. Bridgeport on Facebook. And you could look it up, and it's going to have a lot of wrestling stories about him and some of the people he's been with. So I'm sure up there, both him and Hulk Hogan are finally locking up in heaven. So that's pretty much all I'm working on right now. But I appreciate you having me on the show. Awesome job,
Thank you.
and enjoy the conversation. Thanks
No
for having me.
problem. Thank you for being on. Thank you for joining the Wrestling Therapy. I hope the chair was good enough for you to say what you needed to say, and we'll be glad to have you back on. I am going to put your predictions under your video, and we'll see how close you are to being correct. Everybody stay happy, stay safe, and stay blessed.